Hello and welcome to ProWein 2022 in Düsseldorf, Germany.
My name is Janna Rijpma from the Netherlands.
And I'm Wolfgang Junglas from Germany, and today we report from the ProWein for FIJEV wine channel.
We put our noses, of course, in many glasses, but also we have a nose for new talents and new wineries. So follow us in a beautiful day on the ProWein. I'm on ProWein, finally! This is good, huh? Janna and Wolfgang on ProWein 2022 already.
22 already.
Oh,
yes,
we are all happy.
Yeah, after 2 years of no trade fair here in Düsseldorf.
Yeah. So, and what we are going to do is to show you some trends, some highlights. And there are how many countries?
60 countries are here.
And 300 wine regions. So we have a lot to do. Follow us.
Yeah. I'm quite excited because I did for FIJEV Wine Channel an online interview with Victor Schönfeld from Golan Heights Winery.
Yes.
And now we are going to see him personally. You saw him yesterday.
I saw him yesterday, and it's so lovely that ProWein is back in Düsseldorf again. And of course, Victor is also here. So let's see if he's ready for us.
That's what we do.
Interviewing.
Hello, Victor Schönfeld from Golan Heights Winery. You are here back to the ProWein. What kind of wines are you offering?
Well, we're offering a selection from our winery. We're located in the Golan Heights in Israel, so volcanic soils, high elevation vineyards, 33rd parallel. It's a unique area in the world, so we're trying to give an opportunity to people to taste our unique wines.
Is Germany an important market for you?
Yeah, it's an important market, and there's a lot of interest, a lot of, we market to the world here at ProWein, but a lot of German interest. So I was just giving a taste to two chefs from a restaurant that came to taste. A lot of producers have been coming by, a lot of restaurant wine shop owners. So yeah, it's a great amount of interest.
Yeah, oh, thank you, Wolfgang. Yeah, it's lovely to see you, Victor, again, because everybody is so cheerful and happy that ProWein is back in Düsseldorf again. I was just wondering, because we have so much climate change, what does it say for a country like Israel for your grapes and the way of winemaking?
Well, it's a good point. We don't really know what's coming weather-wise and climate-wise, so we're already thinking ahead. And we're doing more and more in the vineyard to actually reduce water use, also from an environmental point of view, but also from the philosophical point of view that if the vines are less dependent on our intervention, that they reflect more truly our specific spot on the earth. So I would say actually in the last 10 years, we've reduced our water use by about 80%. So we actually in our area—
That's a lot, isn't it?
Quite well prepared. And we're not stopping. We have a new project this year working with some of the most advanced wine growing consultants in the world thinking about this problem, or not problem, but situation.
Yeah, you know that one of my favorite grapes is, you know it, no? Petit Verdot. Oh, I thought you knew.
I'm glad to hear that.
And it's a really lovely grape. So these kind of grapes has a future, isn't it? Are you planting other grapes what are not so familiar to the big crowd of wine lovers?
Well, actually, it's interesting that you mentioned Petit Verdot. That's been getting a lot of interest here at the show. I had a winemaker yesterday that works with Petit Verdot, and he was absolutely very impressed with our Petit Verdot. Petit Verdot is a good variety for maybe climate warming and also for Israel in general. In Bordeaux it had the problem of early growth, so it had frost problems, and then it didn't always ripen by the end of the season, and we don't have those problems in Israel, so it can be a beautiful variety.
Did you travel to Israel many times, Wolfgang?
Not yet, not once, and I'm really regretting that. So it's time. I wanted to go there last year before Christmas, but then again lockdown was on, so hopefully I can travel there soon.
Maybe with FIJEV we have to organize something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't think I've ever met somebody who's traveled to Israel and hasn't loved it.
Yes.
Look, what a nice closure of this interview. Victor, thank you so
It's great to
much.
see you both
And I hope to see you in Israel very soon.
We're waiting for it.
We both.
We both. All the best to you.
Well, for the next interview, I'm really thrilled because yesterday I was here and I discovered a new winery in the really north of Argentina, and he told me, this winemaker, that he is having his vineyards on 3,000 meters above sea level, and that is really high. And I'm so thrilled to see him again because here is the winemaker, Augustin. Hi, Augustin.
Hi,
Oh,
so nice to see you again.
You expected me, huh?
Yeah, of course I was
So
expecting you.
this is,
This
let's
is the
chin
Criolla
chin.
Chica. Hi everybody, this is Agustin. Criolla Chica from the north of Argentina, Calchaquí Valleys, 2,700 meters above sea level. Very old plants from 1906. They are all planted in families, 50 plants, 80 plants, 100 plants, that the families produce that wine from their own consumption. And this is actually the grape. It's called Listán Prieto, that we figured out with the genome of the vine. It's Listán Prieto that came from the Spanish colonizers hundreds of years ago,
Wow.
and now it's split all around America. And because the Calchaquí Valleys is such a pure region in the middle of nowhere, where very in the middle of the
I
mountains.
love your enthusiasm,
They keep on
Augustin.
having these
You
vines,
keep
you know?
on talking, and you keep on making beautiful wines.
Thank
So
you very much.
show us the nose, because we of course we are tasting. But what is so typical about this grape?
Well, this grape is you see the color.
Yeah.
In the rest of the colors, we have a very, very intense colors because of, well, we are in extreme altitude wines, you know, so the grapes get exposed to such an extreme conditions that in order to protect the seeds, they have to make the skin very thick, and in the skin we have everything. Then the ultraviolet rays, we have the highest we are, the more concentration of ultraviolet rays we have, and that help the synthesis of polyphenols, anthocyanins, and the aroma compounds also is completely different.
So, but how do you call it? Is it a rosé? Is it a red wine? What is it?
It's criolla.
Criolla.
It's the autochthonous grape from Argentina.
Okay.
It's not a rosé, it's not a red, it's in between, and it's what it is. It is completely, we don't have in Argentina wines like this. I started making it in 2014. There was only one producer making high-end wines of this grape. Before was normally sweet wines. We call it mistela. That was the typical way of they doing. This was the wine for the Catholic Mass. You know, the Spanish bring this wine.
They were lucky, isn't it?
Yeah, to make this wine on the Mass.
Yeah.
Then they bring other varieties to make it, you know, for consumption. And this is the father or mother of a lot of other varieties of Argentina,
Fantastic.
including the Torontes.
Fantastic.
That is a white.
So this wine is fantastic. I tasted all your wines. I was so lucky. I was really, really happy with your quality of wines. I see this picture there. Is that you?
Yeah, we love to make horse riding in the Calchaquí Valleys. It's one of, you know, everywhere you go there is just fantastic. So we love horses. We have other labels that include a lot of that is called salvaje, wild horses. Well, I invite everyone to come to the Calchaquí Valleys, to come to the
Not
north.
too many people inviting, huh? Because you don't make that many.
First you,
That,
and
that
then
you
I-
don't.
then the others.
You don't make that many bottles. I
No.
presume. How many
It's
in
a very
total?
small production. Well, in total, in all the brands, we only make 80,000 bottles so far, between 80 to 100. This one is only 10,000 bottles. This one is 6,000. Then all the line of Facons is only 4,000. So
Yeah,
it's
wonderful.
a small amount of bottles, but with a big amount of passion and love. And
The passion I see next to me, a lot of energy you bring. This energy is also showing into the wines. Congratulations. You did a very, very good job. Thank you for this interview. Bye, Augustin.
thank you so much. I am very proud to know you and to be here in this channel. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Janna, I'm really curious to know, why did you choose Augustin?
You saw him, this kind of energy, what is getting out of this man. So when you see a man like that, a winemaker, then you are very curious about his wine, because these kind of passion and energy have to be in his bottle. And boy, it was. What a wonderful winemaker.
Is that the feminine way of doing wine reporting?
Yes, but it helps. Because there is so many people, you know, you can go to a booth and you see somebody behind the booth. And when the winemaker is not really your style or whatever, no, you don't have to choose him. You pick somebody else. You know, of course, there's no logic about it. But yeah, sometimes your eye catch somebody, and it turned out to be a very good choice.
So you like cowboy wineries?
I like riding a horse. I love it. So I saw this picture of him, and well, that was fantastic. And it is 3,000 meters above sea level, so you can expect as a wine professional everything about that, you know. And he explained it so well, what happened with the grapes and the maturity. So it definitely is a pearl in the whole big country of Argentina. That's for sure.
Good. For a German wine journalist, it's always a must to come to the booth of the German Wine Institute. Stefan, tell me, how important is ProWein for the German Wine Institute?
ProWein is the most important showplace for German wines throughout the whole year. There's no other place where you can meet that many German producers in 3 days and drink so many German wines. So it is number one for us, there's no doubt.
What are the main topics in this year with German wine?
Well, here at our booth, we have 3 major topics. We have rosé wines, because rosé wines, as you know, are booming everywhere in the world. People drink more and more rosé. And we have selected Germany's best rosé sparkling wines and rosé still wines, and we showcase them here at our booth. Secondly, in one part of our booth, we have Generation Riesling. So every year we bring along new, young German wine talents of the Generation Riesling Group, which is the biggest organization of young winemakers in the world. We have more than 500 members, and a few of them are here. And we also, of course, talk about the Ahr Valley, you know, the flood last year, the catastrophe. So every day we do tasting here just to tell people, listen, the Ahr is alive. They have made wine in the last vintage, and now they're looking for markets to sell these wines, because that's the future of that ravaged region.
How intense was the help of the German Wine Institute for the region of the Ahr?
Well, of course we go there personally and try to help, but that's only a tiny part, because you need thousands of people to help there. But our job is mainly to talk about it and to make sure that it stays in people's minds, because the problem with this kind of catastrophe is that people help in the beginning for a few weeks, and then there's the next catastrophe somewhere in the world, and then it's no longer on people's minds. So we really think for the next years we have to keep talking about this, and they need a lot of help. We talk about a marathon, not about a sprint.
Drink pink is one of the subjects. Why is rosé wine suddenly so interesting?
It is. I don't think it's suddenly. I think it has been. We've seen this trend for a few years now. And we actually, first we saw it in other countries and less in Germany. But we saw in the last 2 or 3 years that the number of the production of rosé wines is growing, which always reflects that the market is there for these wines. And I think what has really changed is that it's been taken seriously. I think in the past, often people made rosé. Okay, I make also rosé. And now you have quite a few estates who really try to make very good rosés. And already when they grow the grapes, they think about the rosé wine they want to do at the end of harvesting. And I think that that's one of the major reasons that quality has become better, and on the other hand also interest is higher.
ProWein is the first time in May due to the pandemic. What do you think? Will it come back to March again in the next year?
I'm sure it will. I think we have all learned that March is the best time of the year, because the new vintage is mainly ready for tasting, and I'm quite confident that we will go back to where it used to be.
Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you.
So last year I was for the first time in North Macedonia. I was so happy to be there and to see this beautiful country. And one of the pearls of North Macedonia is standing next to me. Yeah, Ristov.
Hello. I'm Kira Ristov, Venice Winery, Negotino Dolny Disan.
I know Ristov because I met you there, yes. And we had a lovely tasting in your place and you spoiled us all over. So just some questions. North Macedonia is here with a big booth. Why is that?
We represented now ourselves. We start in more aggressive on a market in EU and to promote. Yeah.
You do a good job because one of your favorite grapes of North Macedonia is the Franec, and you had just a masterclass with the Franec. You finished, but it was great.
And the medals of Mundus Vini was the masterclass. Yeah, Thomas Brandl was the representative of masterclass.
Yeah. So that gains, of course, and a lot of respect for the Franec. So what do you think? What is the future? You have 50 producers now in North Macedonia?
Yeah, I think the accent is local varieties now to promote in EU market, and Vranec is the most growing potential of red variety in Macedonia.
So a lot of people don't know that you have so many different terroirs. A lot of people think, okay, North Macedonia is North Macedonia, but that's not true. Tell me the secret.
The secret is Tikveš wine region, Dolny Disan micro localities, Vranec Orle micro locality where we produce the best Vranec in our portfolio.
How far is it from the main capital, your region?
100 kilometers. We are on 100 kilometers from the capital of Macedonia.
So for a daily tourist trip, it's perfect, isn't it? Yeah. So how many wines are you producing in totally?
Oh, totally wines. We have in our portfolio maybe approximately 25 labels, different. But Vranec we produced 2 different labels, so without oak and with age in oak barrels, and 1 cuvée which is combined with Vranec, Cabernet and Merlot.
So, of course, Vranec is not only in Macedonia, but also your surrounding countries. How do you recognize a Vranec from North Macedonia?
Depend the quality. I think the sun is very a lot of sunny days in Macedonia, and I think the best terroir is coming from our region.
So more concentrated, you say?
More concentrated,
more aging potential.
Yeah, aging potential is very big. Yeah.
So, and then we're talking about 20 years, 15 years, 25.
I don't know, maybe 20 years, 25 years. Okay.
I hope you don't mind that I'm not waiting that long.
No.
I'm going to taste now in your booth, okay?
Okay.
So, thank you so much, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Maybe in the Netherlands, maybe in Macedonia.
Something together to represent ourselves.
That's lovely because this booth is beautiful, also on other fairs.
Yeah.
So I like to welcome you also in the Netherlands one day.
Thank you. Okay. You're welcome in Macedonia every time.
Thank you. Out.
Die Flasche gezogen mit Pecorino, das war 1996. Ist als einfacher Landwein damals auf die Flasche gezogen. Eine DOC, also den Qualitätsweinstatus, den hatte er nicht.
I had the pleasure a couple of weeks ago with a Zoom presentation to know the wines of Carnuntum. And I have to be honest, I really know what the name is and the region is, but I not really was tasting the wine so well as in that Zoom. And therefore I really am honored to stand next to Mr. Michael Auer. Please present yourself, because you are one of the producers in this little wine region.
Right. Hello. So my name is Michael Auer from Carnuntum. Some words to Carnuntum. The name is Carnuntum was in the time from the Romans a big city. In this time it was as big as London and Paris. They had about 60,000 inhabitants. Most of them were soldiers. And today we only have the wines and the name from this time. Carnuntum is a very small area with about 900 hectares. We have about 40 producers which are making wine. The most planted red wine grape is Zweigelt. This is very important for us because Zweigelt and Austrian grape, very smoothie, very friendly to drink, and a wine which where you can have some fun with it. Yeah.
Okay, well, there's nothing to add more. Then no questions left. So thank you so much. I have to ask you one more question. The Zweigelt is, of course, a well-known grape in your country, in your region, with 900 hectares. What makes it in your region so special?
Yeah, it's the most planted grape in Austria, and special makes it in our region that we have the River Danube in the north and the Leiterberg in the south, which keeps always the weather and a little bit more rain than in Burgenland in our side, and also the river brings us the difference between the day and night temperatures, which makes our Zweigelt very fruity, which keeps us also the acidity, and this is also what's the balance in this wine.
So you are the youngest DAC from Austria. That makes you, of course, proud. When happened that? Was it in 2019, I remember? So did it something with the production and with the recognition of your region when you were DAC?
Yeah, of course it changed a little bit that the producers now, Carnuntum was a region where we had many varieties, and now we are more focusing on our varieties which grow since many years in our region, and this was an important step for us to focus a little bit more. Yeah.
And it's lovely that you are gathering together one strong arm with the 20-30 producers here. I wish you all the luck, and I hope that ProWein will bring you a lot of new clients. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks a lot.
10 months ago, a catastrophe almost ruined a complete wine-growing region in Germany. The big flood destroyed almost all wine-growing wineries at the River Ahr. Here is Linda Trabach, the wine queen from the region Ahr. Linda, what is the situation now in the Ahr 10 months after the big flood?
The last months have been very horrible and terrible, but now we are very intensively working on our comeback, and that is what we focus on in the moment. Bring tourism back to the Ahr Valley. That's so important for us because we want to become that beautiful holiday region again as we were before, and that is so important for the people, for the wineries, for everybody. And so I can only say, if anyone like to help, please come and visit us again and have a great time at the Ahr Valley, because that's totally okay to have a very good time in the Ahr Valley again and enjoy our beautiful wines.
Some wineries has lost everything, but they are still here at the ProWein. Do they have wine for sale?
Yes, and I'm so proud that my wine growers are here. It is a little bit difficult, but there are still wines to sell. So come and visit us and have a great time.
Okay, all the best for you and the Ahr.
Thank you.
I'm standing here in an impressive stand of the Mundus Vini, and next to me is a man who is always in control with Mundus Vini. We know each other, but please introduce yourself for the camera.
Yeah, my name is Christian Wolf. I'm the director of the degustation of Mundus Vini since 2015 now. Mundus Vini is a Grand International Wine Award. We started first in 2001 with the first competition. Today we organize Mundus Vini 3 times a year, with the organic wine competition in January, with the spring tasting in February, and with the summer tasting in end of August, maybe sometimes beginning of September. And in total, Mundus Vini today is tasting and judging more than 12,000 wines a year.
That's impressive. I had the honor to be there in February with you, and I did, I think, 80 wines as a jury, something like that. It's also a handful, but it's very well organized. But what is the function really of Mundus Vini?
The Mundus Vini gives the chance to wine growers, to wine producers from all over the world to get more attention for their wine qualities. We both know the wine world is very big. We have a lot of different producers, and in total maybe you have a year more than 500,000 different wines coming on the market. So there's a huge assortment and nobody really can handle this big number of different wines. Which one is good, which one is recommendable, and which one is maybe just average. And that's the function of Mundus Vini. We invite the producers to send in their wines. We blind taste all the wines. Yeah, you know this from your own experience.
I know.
We bring together 5 to 6 experts from all over the world sitting on one table. So in total, summing up to maybe 300 international wine judges taking part in the spring tasting. And yeah, we award medals in silver, gold and crown gold. The awarding is based on the 100-point scale, which is, I believe, today very well known to most of the people. Yeah, and only the best wines get those awards, and yeah, then they can get more attention to their own wine qualities.
So I don't have to ask you that you're so happy to be here on ProWein again. So after 2 years of silence, you can shout Mundus Vini again. So I think it's a very important fair for you also, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not only 2 years, it's 3 years. It's 38 months since the last ProWein. So we had in March 2019 the last ProWein. Then the ProWein 2020 was announced, and then we had the shutdown in Germany. And then, yeah, you're right, there were 2 years of really no context. No, we are very happy as Mundus Vini that ProWein 2022 takes place now. It's not on the original date in March, which is maybe best
next year, isn't it? In the same
Yeah, so March, I believe, is maybe the perfect timing for the wineries and the trade as well. It's not too early in the year, it's not too late. So, but we are happy that now in May ProWein could take place, and yeah, we are running here the Mundus Vini tasting area. And already in the first 2 days of ProWein, we had more than 3,000 people coming here to our stand, to explore new wines and get recommendations from us.
Christian, fantastic. As always, organized very, very well. I know that you are in charge of it. The only famous question, what are your socks today?
It's sommelier socks.
The sommelier socks.
And they're originally coming from Greece.
Okay, and it's both the same color?
It's both the same.
Okay, fantastic. I'm proud of you. Very good. Thank you so much for this interview, and good luck with Mundus Vini.
Thank you very much.
Well, I bumped in, that happens on ProWein, with this beautiful wine and this beautiful lady, Tatjana van Boeklavek. And she shows me, what is this? 1983 Pinot Blanc.
Yes.
This is one of your first wines?
Well, our first wine is actually the oldest wine we have in our archive wine cellar is from 1959. The oldest wine we are showing here today is from 1969.
But 83 is also beautiful.
It is beautiful. Our winemaker says it's beautiful because this is the year he was born in.
Can you hold it?
Sure.
I sip it.
Okay, you zip it. And then you tell us what you think.
Incredible.
Yeah, nice, huh?
What an acidity.
Yeah, but this is very typical for our wines. A high acidity, so they age very nicely.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was drinking it completely directly because No, but this is wonderful. What an aroma. Beautiful color.
Yeah.
Golden color. And still alive and kicking. Like Boeklavek.
Like we are. Always alive. Like you are. Alive and kicking.
Thank you so much for showing me this wine.
You're welcome.
Yes.
FIJEV has got a cooperation with Wine in Moderation, and Wine in Moderation is present here at ProWein as well. Nadja, what is Wine in Moderation?
Wine in Moderation is the responsible movement of the wine sector. So we are an association based in Brussels for historical reasons. We are though present all over the world, and our goal is to empower wine professionals with tools and information on how to encourage the responsible and moderate consumption of wine.
What is a moderate consumption of wine?
In terms of drinking guidelines, we recommend 2 drink units per day for women, 3 drink units per day for men, and never more than 4 drink units per occasion. And then obviously in certain situations or certain people should avoid drinking. So for example, if you're driving, we really recommend not to drink, or if you're pregnant for women or breastfeeding, we recommend not to drink either. Same goes for underage people, and another number of situations in which we recommend to avoid alcoholic beverages and wine.
How does the wine branch react to this? I'm a lecturer at Geisenheim University, and the students, they choose this topic, don't drink and drive. I was surprised about that, but there seemed to be a change in the branch. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We realize, especially in the younger generations, that there is an increasing interest in sustainability and in healthy lifestyles in general. So people are very much interested about the quality of the wine, but also on their own health and how they should make healthy choices. So we are getting an increasing number of supporters around the world, but also we realize the interest that there is in the branch and in the sector. People are curious, they want to know more, and they want to be involved, and we're very happy for that.
So everybody who wants to have more information about Wine in Moderation can just contact you through the website.
Absolutely. So we have a brand new website, which is really nice, if I may say so myself. We have a community map that shows all the supporters we have around the world, so it gives extra visibility as well, and that shows their commitment to social responsibility. And we are present on social media as well, so don't hesitate to follow us on social media. If you have any questions, you can drop us a line. We're always happy to help.
Perfect. Nadja, thank you very much, and we keep on with the cooperation.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
The sunny days are back again, and so time for rosé. And where do you have to be for rosé? Of course, in the Provence. Next to me, a wonderful winemaker in the Provence, Eric Curver. I know him since 2009, and I think, Eric, you can introduce yourself better than I can.
Thank you very much. Introducing myself is always a big is not that easy. I started making rosé wine in Provence, pure out of enthusiasm, in 2008, and we are now 15 years on the road, and we still produce one wine, one rosé, with the name called Aix, after the capital Aix-en-Provence, which is the capital of the wine region of Provence. And we've seen very interesting developments over the years. We have decided since 8 years or 10 years, every year we reconsider whether we should make white wine from Provence, red wine from Provence, light wine, sparkling, premium, prestige, light, zero alcohol, but we still stick to one wine. And
that's a good solution, I think. Good idea for sticking in something where you're very good in, quality rosé making. Do you think that the last years the client, the wine lover, is taking rosé more seriously, you think?
I think definitely the professional market is taking rosé more serious, and I mean wine shops, but also sommeliers and restaurants and chefs. Where 10 years ago, quite often the rosé was under the heading of white wines on the wine list. Now it has its own heading, like white, sparkling, rosé and red. And not just one. Quite often there are 5 or 6 or 7 rosé wines compared to 10 or 12 whites and 20, 30 reds. But we're getting there, and I think rosé deserves this position.
So normally, and I'm talking now about the Netherlands and the market in the Netherlands, everybody is starting to drink rosé when the sun is there, and they stop with drinking rosé in October when the sun is leaving. What kind of message do you want to give to all these wine lovers?
I think the moment you open a bottle of rosé, the sun is there, and you should not wait for the sun if you can buy the sun. The liquid sun in a bottle, so don't wait for the sun, and
especially when the sun is gone in October, November, December.
Definitely the season has been stretched enormously. Where I think 10 years ago it was really a summer wine. Now it's, let's say, from April till October, and we see that we're working on stretching it from, let's say, from Valentine's Day on the 14th of February until mid-November, when it's wild turkey time in the US.
And of course Christmas time. It's always a very lovely color on Christmas tables. Thank you so much, Erik, and keep up the very good work you're doing. And we are going to drink a glass of rosé. It's time for it. Cheers. Always a time for it.
Thank you very much.
Despite the war, Ukraine is present at the ProWein, and here's Evgenia. Evgenia, Ukraine has got a very old and long wine tradition. What kind of wines are you providing here?
Actually, yes, we have a really long story, but let's say we are now on the point of rediscovering our wine business. And let's say everything changed 5-10 years ago. So a lot of new winemakers come on the market, a lot of new investments starting to appear. And actually, let's say during last years, everything like growing. And even the quantity of the wine producers, so it's like almost doubled during last 5 years. So today in Ukraine, we produce actually, let's say, any kind of wines you can imagine. So a lot of wineries now experimenting, trying to find our identity, trying to find what is interesting about Ukrainian wines. Of course, we're trying to promote our local grapes. So we have few which has the most interest. It's the Tukuruk you can try here at Shabo stand. And we have another one, red one, which is Odessa Black. So let's say it's one of the most famous. We produce a lot of sparkling wines as well, and you can find Sharma, you can find traditional methods. We produce red, rosé, orange wines. Now huge trend for orange wines, for amphoras wines, and especially a lot of small winemakers. They're making a lot of kind experiments with it.
In which parts of Ukraine is wine produced?
So if to speak about like the quantities, so the biggest vineyards are situated on the south. So let's say we have like few main regions. We have what is called Black Sea region. We have Crimea, which is occupied right now. We have Transcarpathia, and as soon as global warming, let's say, it helps a lot to Ukraine. So more and more vineyards you can find on the north of country. So you can find near Kiev, you can find near Chernihiv even. So it's like 52 parallel, so it's quite cool climate region, but anywhere we can grow some vineyards there as well. So let's say the cool climate vineyards become more and more trendy, but it's not about quantities for today, so like it's a kind of experiment.
How difficult was it for you and your team to get here to the wine trade fair?
Actually, I should say that this year is supposed to be the first ever time in the history of ProWein to be presented the whole stand of wines of Ukraine. And we already booked everything, starting to manage the image, the design and everything. And unfortunately, war comes. So unfortunately, now you see only one producer, Shabo, one of the best one. But it's supposed to be, so the empty place you see here, it's supposed to be the big stand of wines of Ukraine. The whole stand, and it's supposed to be like 9-10 different producers to be presented this year. So because of everything is coming, so we didn't have an opportunity to make all our plans to be true, to come into reality. But anyway, we have a lot of support these days, of course, and our friends, good friends from Guggenheim University, they allowed us to put a small stand table with wines of Ukraine, so just in case anyone here in ProWein today. So today and tomorrow you have an opportunity to try Ukrainian wines here on this stand Chavo, or in the hall 1 at Rheingau stand. We have like a small table, or tomorrow at 11 o'clock we will have a lecture about Ukrainian wines, about what's going on our country, and what kind of potential, what kind of wines do we produce.
I'm a lecturer at Guggenheim University. Tell me, what kind of help do you actually need for Ukrainian wine industry?
If you, let's say, if we are talking about studies, so of course some kind of changes so that Ukrainian winemakers could receive new experience, could receive new knowledge. Maybe some kind of technologies, I don't know. And of course we would like to help us to share the problems we have now. So unfortunately a lot of vineyards and some of the wineries are already destroyed. So we have, I can show you the photos with some bombs, rockets just inside the land on the vineyards. Some of the vineyards, they disappeared, they don't produce anything anymore. So we would like people to know that the war is going, so it's like 80 days, 81 or 82 days of war. So nothing, maybe people stopped to speak so much as it was during the first days, but it's still going on. So it's still, everything is still destroyed. People are still killing. So maybe to share information.
I have never tasted a wine from Ukraine. With which one should I start?
With sparkling wines, of course. With sparkling wines, of course, yes. And in Ukraine, when you do something for the first time, so just make a wish, and this wish will come true. So if it's your first time, make a wish right now. And,
I will, and you can guess what I would wish for.
please, yes, everything will stop, and we want war stop, actually.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and all the best for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. So, to Ukrainian.
I thought it was for...
Yeah.
Very great.
All the best for you.
Thank you.
That was our report from ProWein 2022. Janna, what did surprise you most?
It was a hectic day, Wolfgang, that for sure. But everybody was so enthusiastic. We are so happy that ProWein is finally there again. One of the highlights for me was North Argentina. What do you think about that one?
I liked it as well. North Macedonia I liked, and I liked the people. I liked the spirit of the people, and I was surprised how many people from the Netherlands are coming to the ProWein, and you know them all.
I know them all. No, I don't know them all, and that's good for it. But one really interview was taking my heart, of course. It was your interview with Ukraine.
Yes, it moved me as well.
It melted our hearts. So it was wonderful to see them here, Ukraine, and I hope next ProWein we don't have war.
I hope so as well, and that will be in March 2023. So, see you then. Bye.
Was lovely, Wolfgang.
Was lovely. She is nice. She is nice.